What are the key mistakes to avoid when acquiring an agency? This is Neil Patel, helping you succeed through online marketing.
All right, so we're going to talk about critical agency acquisition mistakes. So in the last episode, we talked about if agencies are ripe for roll-ups. Check that one out. We wanted to share some mistakes that we made, and hopefully you can sidestep these mistakes because this is a lot of wisdom and a lot of money spent.
Yes. The first big mistake is when you buy an agency, and Eric went through this, whoever you're buying it from, the founders and management team, they need to stick on board for a while. If they're not there for a year or 2 years, it's really hard for the knowledge transfer, the client relationships, and you're in, expect a world of hurt if you're not retaining the top talent whenever you acquire, because the agency is a people business. The people is really what matters. The people is what's driving the revenue. The people, it's what's reducing the churn. And if you just do a change of all the people or the main people, you're going to have a lot of issues.
In one case for the agencies that we got, the founder was involved with every single account. He was super serving every single account, which is good when you're a smaller agency. That's how you build a lot of goodwill with the clients. The clients are like, oh my God, I love working with you because you're giving everything you got. Now, what happened was, in that situation, so the founder basically left immediately, right? And so because if the leader leaves, then the clients are like, what the heck? Because the leader's on every single account, right? And then there's also the lieutenants of the leader too. They all look up to the leader. And what happened immediately after was like one of the key lieutenants left, right? And so it starts to become really shaky immediately because you're integrating. Business is chaotic, right? So you're integrating two chaotic organizations or organisms together. It might not take. It's like when you put a new organ into your body, it might not take, so it might get rejected.
The other thing is you need to do diligence, and amazing diligence at the beginning before you buy a deal. Eric went through this mistake. He used a broker, and the broker didn't give him the correct diligence materials. Like, what is the churn? What is the LTV? You have to look at churn by client count and revenue, and then segment it per industry. How many units or service items are they selling per client? What are the staff on board? How long have the staff been there? What does the staff churn look like? Like, these are all very important questions. What is their key differentiator in the marketplace? How long have they been in business? How do they get their leads? Is it word of mouth? Is it the founder? Because if the founder, once you give them the money, they're not going to stick around forever. But on the flip side, if they're getting it because they're brand name, they've been in the industry forever, and they're getting tons of RFPs, your risk goes down drastically. All these things are super important.
By the way, I'll say this other thing over here. When you are buying a company, the seller always has the advantage from an information standpoint. So you got to take your time doing the due diligence because you got to figure out how to decrease. They're always going to have an advantage, but you got to decrease that advantage as you talk to them.
Then you also need to look at multiple agencies. When you look at multiple agencies, you'll learn a lot more about these agencies, and it'll help you figure out which ones are actually good versus which ones are bad. The first one you talk to isn't necessarily the best one to acquire. You got to kiss a lot of frogs to find the right one. And when you're kissing these frogs, make sure that they're providing things like audited financials. If they don't, you should have someone review the financials to make sure they're actually accurate and there's no fraud in there. Have good lawyers in the process. This will help you avoid mistakes as well because they'll tell you what to look out for. But these are just some common things. And I really believe it all starts with diligence when it comes to avoiding the mistakes. And I mentioned some of these things like churn and revenue, and make sure that the businesses are growing and the employees are there, and make sure that they're selling multiple units of services per customer. Ideally, they should be keeping their customers for more than 4 years. Keep that in mind. Again, ideally, they should be keeping their customers for more than 4 years, right? You don't want someone who's only keeping customers for a year or two. It's just a revolving door at that point. But these are just some of the things to look out for, and it takes time to find the good ones.
Now, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm here to answer them and help you out. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it, tell people about it. Thank you very much.